Hey guys, we have another very powerful, very profound energy day happening today. Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld, his long-awaited entrance, formal entrance into the sign of Aquarius. Pluto moving to 0 degrees of Aquarius today, you guys. This is big time. This is indicating some major power shifts that are going to be happening on a macrocosm level, also on a microcosm level. Aquarius is a sign of the individual and also of the overall whole. So some personal revolutions and some global revolutions are upon us, you guys. It's going to be very interesting next 20 years. To kick off Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius today, we also have the moon entering the very early degrees of Taurus, hitting a fixed square to Pluto in Aquarius. All eyes on Pluto in Aquarius today, you guys. Lots of energy to talk about. Let's get into this chart. Let's look at how this is all coming together for us today in the context of our energy today. And of course, the larger themes that are likely to be unfolding for us over the next 20 years now that we have Pluto entering the sign of Aquarius. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be looking at some tarot cards that came out for the day as well, because I like to tap the field from more than one modality whenever we're looking at energy, just to get some alternative viewpoints of what's going on, what we should be aware of, and just maybe some advice that we should take into consideration as we're going throughout the day. So we're going to be doing that at the end as well. But we're starting with the astrology, and we've got astrology to talk about, you guys. We have been waiting on this moment. This has been like pending in the wings for a while now. Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius. This is a very powerful shift that's going on. Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus. This hasn't happened in 225 years. And do you guys know what happened the last time that Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius? The planet Uranus was actually discovered. So this is going to really electrify things in some very powerful ways, and really like add just a lot of power and intensity to things that Uranus has a tendency of ruling. And so we're going to have some really, I feel like, groundbreaking advances or innovation in alignment with things having to do with electricity, with things having to do with sudden, rapid, massive change, okay, that is heading us in the right direction, that is rectifying things somehow, and that is guiding us into the age of Aquarius. Isn't it interesting? The first time that Pluto, well, not the first time, but the most recent time that Pluto transited through the sign of Aquarius, we had the discovery of Uranus. The next time that Pluto transits through the sign of Aquarius, we're literally transitioning into the age of Aquarius. Very powerful impact, I guess, that we could say that Pluto seems to have when it transits Aquarius, as it literally brought forth the planet ruling Aquarius, Uranus, the modern ruler, and now is like death and rebirth, transition, transformation, regeneration, regenerating what has not been working, what has been out of alignment, what needs to fall away in order so that like true value and worth can be re-recognized, potential can be ignited, and we can really like go through the next phase of conscious evolution in alignment with the galactic blueprint as it's unfolding, carrying us into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is an age of self-actualization, self-knowledge, self-understanding, self-mastery, and, you know, coming to the conscious awakening, spiritual awakening, to a point where we have an ability to co-create our reality with God and universe. It is going to shift our understanding of things in some really big ways, and it is going to reawaken us to the truth of our power. Uranus awakening, the great awakening, Pluto, power in all of its forms. Huge shifts in power dynamics, you guys. Uranus is the planet ruling revolution. Some very powerful revolutions are about to go on. Actually, the last time that Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, we had the American Revolution, there was the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution, it was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Everything changed, okay? That is the exact same type of thing that we are dealing in now. North node in the sign of Taurus, south node in the sign of Scorpio, past past and future, right? Destiny and karma, what we are releasing ourselves from, the toxic, self-sabotaging, limiting beliefs and attachments and subconscious programming, these Pluto themes of the past that have caused us to surrender any of our personal power out of any sense of lack of value or worth or love or potential that we like didn't recognize within us. This is a massive transformation out of where we've surrendered power to the recognition that we actually hold all the value and worth within us that is necessary to become a vessel of our own power, okay? This is like us being able to power ourselves up and no longer looking for an outlet externally, essentially, to plug ourselves into. And it's going to come by way of these very powerful awakenings, conscious awakenings, epiphanies, flashes of insight that are going to act as the catalyst to this recognition of our value that we will step into. And individuals doing that over time is going to just create this massive wave and this massive ripple effect that over the next 2,000 years is going to be what transitioned us in the age of Aquarius. When they're looking back in the history books, you guys, like hundreds of years in the future, I am telling you, mark my words, this period of time, 2023, probably the 3 years prior and the 3 years following, okay? They're going to be like, yeah, that's when it happened. That's when like the stuff happened that caused the massive like snowball effect that has brought us to where we're at now. So I'm not saying this is going to be easy, you guys. There's probably a lot of intensity. I mean, it's honestly a little unsettling the way that this energy is coming in also with the moon in the end of Aries, hitting Taurus, hitting that, I mean, Pluto moves to 0 degrees of Aquarius. The moon is going to hit that 0 degrees of Taurus today in the fixed square, right as Pluto is ingressing to that 0 degree mark. 0 degrees is, of course, a critical degree in the zodiac as well. This is really putting all the emphasis in a kind of an emotionally conflicting way, perhaps, on this Pluto energy. There could just be like quite a level of intensity that's going on out there. It could be with the moon and Taurus forming the square, Taurus ruling like comfort and stuff. It could be quite uncomfortable. There could also be like financial stuff that comes up or relationship, partnership based issues that this provokes. Of course, this is a moon square, so this will pass. But the thing about it is that's so interesting as well, with the moon also transiting the early degrees of Taurus for Pluto's ingress into Aquarius today, that also means, as I was just speaking of the North Node, that means that the moon is going to also be hitting a conjunction with the North Node of the moon just after making that square to Pluto recently moved into the sign of Aquarius. So shifts happening now, they're for a reason and they're part of this bigger plan. The North Node rules the destiny point. This is the cosmic blueprint being activated. This is the next phase of growth. This is our evolutionary course and path. This is where we're sort of being like compulsively pulled towards at this point in time, you know, whether we like it or not. And that's another thing with this Uranus energy, you guys, like the changes that are happening, the shifts that are happening, the power like plays going on right now, and just the shifting power dynamics generally, they are a part, they're a necessary part of whatever needs to happen right now in order to right things and rectify things to make them go the way that they're supposed to go in order to promote this organic path of growth. North Node in Taurus. This is about growth, the sign of growth, right? The sign of the builder in alignment with authentic value and authentic potential. Uranus also rules authenticity. Aquarius rules authenticity. Anything that is out of alignment with truth or authenticity or that organic path to growth in alignment with true value and potential, these are the things that are being disrupted in this energy and that are also being put back on the proper course despite how things may look or how they may feel in the moment. Again, this could be a very intense energy. It could feel pretty uncomfortable. Anxiety and stuff like that could be running pretty high with the Aquarius energy also, like having a lot to do with the nervous system and stuff like that, just energy levels generally. But it's just, this is where we're at. This is what's happening now. And these are the necessary steps in order for things to get put back on track in alignment with the plan that is unfolding right now. So I'm saying today there are just likely to be perhaps some power struggles going on, some endings and beginnings that are quite, like I keep using this word, but like quite intense, or with, you know, Pluto entering Aquarius, just totally unexpected. This is also some very big, powerful, like shocking things. Aquarius, Uranus, this rules shocks and surprises. So we're just in times of big change, you guys. We've been talking about it since the equinox video. You know, I talked about it in the new moon in Aries video. That's just where we're at, but we need to like rest in our faith, okay? We have Saturn in the sign of Pisces right now. We have a duty and a responsibility to our commitment to our faith to help us navigate whatever seems to be unfolding at this point in time. This is energy where it is in our best interest to surrender the burdens and the things that we can't control to a higher power, with the knowledge that things are truly working in our favor and that everything that is happening right now is happening for us and not against us, despite how, you know, things may seem in this moment. Expect the unexpected energy, you guys, but whenever we have Uranus, whenever we're talking about Aquarius, this is energy that's trying to move us forward to a better, more positive, productive, aligned, authentic outcome. So we have faith in that. Now, let's talk about some Sabian symbols for just a minute. We have the sun today at 3 degrees of Aries, a cameo profile of the man in the outline of his country. This, to me, a cameo profile of a man in the outline of his country. This is a reference to a sense of self-empowerment, or to like being so strongly identified with our, you know, who our own authenticity, or what we're coming to discover within ourselves now, that it is becoming indecipherable from like our actual physical presentation. Like we're stepping more into the truth of who we are, and it's becoming what we are identifying with, maybe, as opposed to old versions of ourselves that are falling away at this point in time. Again, this like death and rebirth, this whole new world energy, this spark of creation, this shifting identity, this, you know, exiting our past selves and our past experiences and going through this transformative transition and becoming, you know, these new, more evolved, more conscious versions of ourselves. That's what this energy is representing, the cameo profile of a man in the outline of his country. I do feel like this is talking about us stepping into that as we go through this Pluto into Aquarius period of time over this next 20 years, for that to be the position of the sun for the day that Pluto ingresses. You know, it tells us that's sort of where we're going. We're becoming these abominable representations of our truth, instead of maybe wherever we've been up until this point in time. Now, the position of the earth, 3 degrees of Libra, that Sabian symbol, the dawn of a new day reveals everything changed. So following on the heels of our equinox energy, following on the heels of our new moon in Aries energy, both of those happening within the same 24 hours of each other. The new moon at 0 degrees of Aries, Venus in a conjunction to the north node, Pluto now moving into the sign of Aquarius. The dawn of a new day, you guys, reveals everything changed. Position of the earth, what's happening on the ground. This is it. This is a new age. It's a new era. It's a new day, right? And we're redefining ourselves in the shape of our country, in alignment with our authentic truth and what we really value, right? With the North Node in the sign of Taurus. So I feel like those are some very significant Sabian symbols that we also have going on in alignment with this shift that we have today. Also, you know, aside, I can't believe the moon is forming an exact square to Pluto for Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius today. Like, that is likely to just bring up maybe some issues, but we've got to remember, with the moon then hitting the North Node, like, This is part of the plan, and we may not understand the plan as it's unfolding, but it's our job to, surrender our control over that which we can't control with the faith that everything is working in our favor, and we kind of just need to go with the flow of things at this point in time. Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Now, other than that, like the main astrology we have going on today, we've got these two huge stelliums of planets in Aries and Taurus. That's really where all the action is right now. Pretty much everything besides Pluto and Saturn wedged in between those two signs. We've got Neptune over there in Pisces too, but let's think about it. All of the energy right now going on in Aries and Taurus, action and growth, okay? And being in this Aries cycle that was at 0 degrees, this is new action, new growth, Pluto into the sign of Aquarius, getting things back into authentic order and taking them in this totally new, unexpected direction. I do really think that a lot of big shocks are going to come with this, you guys. That's one of the primary things that Uranus does, is bring unexpected, shocking, and surprising things. Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius, we're likely to get some very powerful surprises that are coming up here, but it's just a period of action happening, this action-oriented nature to the energy generally, and growth, planting new seeds, setting off on new journeys, starting new pursuits. And the risks that we take now, you guys, are going to be supported. I mean, we've got Jupiter in the sign of Aries in a conjunction to Chiron, especially as we are operating from a sense of wisdom gained through experience. That's going to be one of our best assets and tools in terms of our decision making, especially moving through this energy. Now I just want to talk just for another quick second about what Pluto generally transiting the sign of Aquarius over this next couple of years, 20 years, is going to do for us. Like I said, it's been 225 years since Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius. Last time Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, we had several revolutions. Aquarius, Uranus, this is the revolutionary energy. Why is it the revolutionary energy, Aubrey? Because it's the energy that is about the individual and the whole. And we're talking about Pluto empowering the individual, which empowers the collective to take power back, right, from anywhere that long established orders of power and control, the Capricorn Pluto transit, have been abusing or misusing power and control in any type of a way. We go from this Capricorn, very authoritarian type of regime type of power and control, into the sign of Aquarius, where the ball gets tossed back into the hands of the individual and the collective, and that is what causes this revolutionary energy. It literally is Pluto in the sign of Aquarius translates into the power of the people. So that is why we've seen all these revolutions, not to mention the Industrial Revolution, in alignment with the discovery of Uranus, which had a lot to do with the Industrial Revolution coming online as it is. So we're going to go through another revolution similar to an industrial type of revolution, but it's going to be, I think, we're headed towards, honestly, some type of sci-fi world in terms of, I feel the technological innovation and advances that are going to be coming. I think that we are going to discover power sources that maybe had been Pluto, right? Hidden or secret or being overly controlled or abused in some type of way. I think that the impact of Pluto in Aquarius on energy that powers our planet and powers our world is going to be really profound. I think that we're going to see some major transformations in terms of energy, electricity, also scientific, medical, technological discoveries and innovation. I think there's going to be huge advances. I think that the healing fields, because we're talking about Pluto, this is regeneration, right? This ultimately, the Pluto energy has a lot to do with healing on very deep levels and very psychic levels as well. I think we could see mental health, new ways of dealing with mental health that have a very powerful and regenerative and productive impact. I think all types of new cure-based remedies are going to come about. I feel with Pluto rules the root issue. It's the core of something. It's not the symptom, okay? I don't think the technological and the medical advances that we experience over this point in time are going to be about controlling symptoms. I think they're going to be about legitimately curing difficult or, deadly with Pluto, or just illnesses. And I think that they're going to be available, you know, widely to humanity, to the collective, in more of a free way. So I think that will be very beneficial. Obviously, like I said, scientific technology, I think we're going to like sci-fi world. Like, I will not be surprised if over the course of the next 20 years, like the Jetsons finally do come true and we do actually have like flying cars, and we do have these new cities all over the world that are very like much more technologically advanced, just like during, you know, the previous American Revolution and the Industrial Revolution, stuff like that. I think that, you know, technology, innovation, I do think that there's going to be, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there are legitimately like new cities and new roads, and just like the countries that we live in, the world generally just look drastically different than they have, you know, up until this point in time. I feel like, you know, like we've been through some very long period of time where there hasn't been much change, at least in the United States, in the way of just our general country, like how it's set up, and like new cities and stuff like that. But this to me does indicate that things are like a lot of changes happening fast. Like this is going to be one of those 20 years where like millennia happen. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be major technological advancements, changes, space-related things as well. Space-related discoveries, space travel, things to do with space. We're going to have our eyes on the sky, you guys. That's another thing. Like there's going to be a more prominent focus on, you know, the heavens and the ether. That's another thing. Like ether energy, the electricity that's held in the air and stuff, and like how to utilize and how to tap that. Like Pluto in Aquarius is going to definitely go down that road. But yeah, I do think, you know, we're going to have our eyes on the skies. I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on hidden things that go on in the sky, or just things going back and forth through the air, or, you know, the whole like alien UFO, like all of that, I think is going to really become much more relevant over this next 20 years, maybe sooner than later. Who knows? We'll see. But definitely, you know, space discovery, space travel, space related this, that, the other thing, like I said, like flying cars, like an emphasis on being in the air. I think that we're going to see coming now and over this next 20 years. So just a couple closing notes, closing points. While Pluto is entering the sign of Aquarius today, ingressing to 0 degrees of Aquarius, Pluto will be here for 3 months, and then we'll back into Capricorn, and we're going to have a couple months of that. But then January 21st, you guys, do you realize that like January 21st, it's either January 20th or January 21st, depending on the year, that's the day when the sun moves into the sign of Aquarius. So we've got Pluto in Aquarius now. Pluto will back out, but then come next time, Pluto and the sun are going to be moving in Aquarius, like basically in conjunction. So that's going to be some interesting times as well, and we will be following leading up to that point in time. But this is where we're at now. Cameo profile of a man in the outline of his country. The dawn of a new day reveals everything changed. Huge shifts in power dynamics. Individual personal revolutions extrapolated to global revolutions. All different areas and avenues of life coming. The shifts happening now being indicated by the moon about to hit the north node when Pluto goes into Aquarius today, happening for a reason, part of this bigger plan, action, growth, things taking off, whole new era, whole new age. Here we are. We're here for it. So that's what's going on. That's what I have to say in terms of the astrology today, you guys. In terms of the tarot, we got a short message coming out today, and I feel like it's just kind of giving us a little bit of something to like ease maybe our mind in the midst of maybe the things that are playing out right now. The first card that we had come out was the Four of Swords. This is about taking a break. This is about having patience. This is about also letting us know that we're safe. The Four of Swords is a card of safety, okay? So regardless, you know, of how we're feeling about things right now, like we actually should take comfort in the fact that, you know, we are safe, like everything is fine. Don't push things, okay? The next card that we have coming out is the Three of Wands in reverse. These two cards in combination to me are saying like, don't force anything right now. We just need to wait. We need to have patience. We need to try to like calm ourselves down a little bit, like take a little bit of a rest and not like force an agenda, push an agenda, try to move something forward, try to make something happen. Things are happening. Like I said, the moon is coming into the conjunction with the North Node. Things are happening according to the way that they need to happen in order so that things can be shifted and realigned in the way that they need to, in correspondence with this proper trajectory of growth that is trying to come back online for us at this period of time. On the back of the deck, you guys, we have the Sun card. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. You know, there's nothing to fear in these situations, in this scenario. Even though we're dealing with Pluto, you know, the Lord of the underworld, this can be a bit of an intimidating energy. That's another way. Intense, also intimidating to some extent. But, you know, our guidance is here that we need to, you know, trust that we're safe in the process of whatever is unfolding right now. Whatever is happening to help bring us back to a place where we're really going to thrive and we're really going to feel alive and help us rediscover that purpose within us so that we can get in alignment with what truly brings us a greater sense of fulfillment and happiness and joy in our lives. Like, that's what these changes are ultimately about. But, you know, they may feel just a little difficult, uncomfortable as we're going through them. But you know, maybe some additional advice that we need for today is that, you know, don't rush into things necessarily. We may have that compulsion and things are just going to be happening, I think, because, you know, like I said, also the moon and the North Node coming together and just this transformation underway, this new moon in Aries, like this, all of this, you know, it's growth, new beginnings, and action oriented. We're in a cardinal cycle. Like, this is when the action is happening, but we don't necessarily need to force things. Things are going to happen on their own time. Like, that's what this is saying to me. This is a time to sort of like withdraw a little bit, like just take comfort in the knowledge that everything is going to be okay and moving in the right direction. And we don't necessarily want to like launch out or like act on something specific right now, if it's not like putting us in a position where we just clearly have no alternative but to act. You know, I'm not saying don't take action. I'm saying don't force things. Don't force an agenda. Don't make things happen prematurely in this energy because of, you know, just some sense of internal unrest. This is saying we need to do our best to like sort of cultivate that sense of internal peace and internal rest and not force things to happen before they're ready to happen. And remember, you know, there is this higher power, there is this divine light, okay, the sun, this universe, okay, working to restore things in a better way. So that's what the tarot message is for today. Let's grab one more card now, you guys. Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What is a piece of advice? What is some guidance that can benefit us as we're going through this energy today? What do we need to know? Let's see what it says. You can't change another. So that's kind of what I was just saying, you know, like we can't force things to happen right now if they're not authentically, organically happening in alignment with divine timing. And that clearly, you know, goes for the people and the relationships and the partnership dynamics in our lives as well. It says you can't change another. Thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. In your relationships with others, don't be possessive or try to make them do what you think they should do or act the way you think they should act. See, that's what Pluto does. Pluto possesses and controls things, and that is not what we want to be doing in this Aquarius Pluto energy. It's about self-empowerment. It's about controlling and having power over ourselves, okay? Never permit others to rob you of your peace of mind. That's what I was saying in this, you know, about the tarot cards as well. Your peace and joy are in God, right? The sun, and not the words or actions of other people. Bless them and walk on. I'm going to read that one more time since I like broke it up with my own interjections. In your relationships with others, don't be possessive or try to make them do what you think they should do or act the way you think they should act. Never permit others to rob you of your peace of mind. Your peace and joy are in God, not in the words or actions of other people. Bless them and walk on. So that's the guidance today, you guys. That's the advice from God, Spirit, Universe, Synchronicity card message. And that's the message in the stars today as well. So that's what I have to say. should be some interesting times that we are heading into now. And again, just big times of change, you guys, and having a strong relationship to like our own personal truth and also to a higher power and our faith, I feel like is what is going to be our best support through this process. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. Love your comments. So grateful for all of you. Honestly, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for, you know, your feedback, and I really want to know how these aspects and these energies are affecting you guys too. If you're having experiences in alignment with what I'm talking about in these reports, let me know in the comments below. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and Instagram, some other social media stuff in my description box below if you're interested in any of that. And come back with me, you guys. It probably will be the video about Mars ingressing into Cancer. We've also got Mars about to change signs. However, I will say that I also right now have a bunch of stuff sort of going on in the background, and my schedule is really sort of up in the air right now. I'm trying to juggle like a whole bunch of different things. I've got a lot of uncertainty underway as well that is making things a little bit difficult for me. I may not be as consistent in my videos next week and the week after as I always am, but I am, you know, that if that is the case, just know that it's not going to continue to be like that. I'm just also got a lot of stuff going on and trying to find time and make time for all of it, again, like I said, in the midst of a bit of uncertainty. So I'll be here though. I am going to do my darndest to have a video out for Mars in Cancer the day that Mars moves into Cancer. It may actually not be till the day after, but we'll see. Like I said, I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you guys next time. Wishing you a beautiful day, and until then, bye guys.